Hello, I'm Councilman Michael Kuzmicz, Councilman of the 4th Ward, here to give you another update as to what's been going on in the town. As you can see, I'm here at Martz Field. We have an overview of the park. As you can see, there are many different facets of it, which certainly are things that you could take advantage of during the summer, and we certainly encourage you to do so. As far as the update for the 4th Ward, a number of things have been going on since the last time I updated you. First and foremost, we have had a change in the Recreation Committee. Our longstanding resident and 4th Ward resident, Ralph Holt, has resigned as chairman of the Recreation Committee. Ralph has been an upstanding member of our community for many years, and we certainly will miss him. And not only that, his contributions over the years were certainly appreciated, and they definitely made a difference in not only the town, but in making these parks, such as Martz Field, what it is. As you can see, we have a number of things that we've done in the park. We have the basketball courts, which we've renovated. We have the playgrounds, which certainly have been renovated over the past couple of years. Our beautiful pavilion, which has been used many times by our residents for certain events, and also for our summer camp, which just has been completed this year. We also have the tennis courts. I'm actually proud of the tennis courts, maybe more than anything else, because I remember when I first got on as councilman, the tennis courts were not being used and they were in bad shape, and we were able to renovate them, and now they're being used pretty much every day on a regular basis. I could say that one of the things that I'm proud of is when I walk through or drive through this area, I can see residents using these tennis courts, and I know that that was definitely a well-spent proposition to make sure that these were done and completed and being able to be used by the residents. And I am certainly, as I said, once again, proud of that. A number of things we've done this year, as you know, if you've been following our town board meetings, we've made sure that property maintenance has been kept up. We've had Steve Frazier, who's been managing our buildings department, has been maintaining our properties on a regular basis. We've done a better job regarding that. We've been able to complete the maintenance of Schlott House Park, not only the administration building, but the billboards and the signs. Certainly they came in handy and were useful when we've had our summer concert series, which has been going on now, normally on a Thursday night. We welcome you to join us at Schlott House Park on one of those Thursday nights for that summer concert series. In addition to that, we've been able to once again keep our taxes low. We're still under the property tax cap. We will have a budget season coming up this year, and as I mentioned to you before, and I will say again, I am committed as your councilman to making sure that we stay under the tax cap while continuing to maintain our essential services. I think over the years we have done that and will continue to do that. Also, as your recreation liaison, we have had a number of things that have occurred since the last update. We've had a community day. This year we've tried something different. The community day this year was 4th of July weekend. We had done that once before on a more limited basis. We tried it on a grander scale this time. I think there were many great things about what happened with that. Certainly, though, if there are any other suggestions or proposals that anybody might have, we would be more than willing to listen to what you might think, how we can make it even a better and more grander event next year. The Recreation Committee and the Recreation Department is not done yet. There are a number of things that will be occurring between now and the end of the year. We will have our trunk or treat. That is normally at Schlott House Park. It once again is a very, very highly attended event. I know the children love it. It's something that we do appreciate and we look forward to every Halloween season. This year it'll be the Saturday before Halloween, and once again we encourage our residents to come out and support that event as they always do to make it the great event that it is. We of course always support our veterans. There are a number of proposals that we are proposing with the town in order to, number one, name Route 9D, or I should say Route 9, a Veterans Highway, as well as having other different things to honor our veterans. In addition to that, we will be having our Veterans Day ceremony as we always do at Town Hall. Once again, I encourage everybody to get out. One of the things that I say that is great about this town and will continue to be great about this town is the fact that we honor our veterans the way they do. All of these events are widely attended, and not only that, we are one of the few towns, I'm not saying the only one, but certainly one of the few towns that have multiple events like that during the day, not only on Veterans Day, but Memorial Day. Of course, there's 9/11. We will be having ceremonies at 9/11 for 9/11, one over at the Palmatier Memorial and also one at the New Hackensack Fire Department. That is another event that's near and dear to me, since not only being a resident of the town of Wappinger, I also do commute into the city and work in the city and was there during 9/11, so I certainly understand how difficult that was that day, those families who experienced that great loss, and certainly the ones that had to undergo that tragedy or deal with it. And it's certainly something we should never forget. And once again, our town does a great job in making sure that we never forget it. Finally, we will be having our tree lighting ceremony once again at Schleit House Park. That'll be the first Saturday in December. Once again, highly attended event. We look forward to you coming out there. That is, once again, one of the great things that I love about this town is our residents always get involved and contribute and make sure that these events are successful. As your 4th Ward Councilman, I will certainly continue to do everything I can to make this town a better and better place. If you have any other suggestions, I'm more than welcome to hear your suggestions. But not only as far as a town board member, we do have other boards as well. There is certainly the Planning Board, as you know. One of the other boards that I'd like to highlight during my time here today is the Zoning Board of Appeals. One of the reasons why I'm doing that now is during the summertime, there are a number of residents who come to me. They ask me things about what can we do regarding putting in a pool, a shed, things of that nature. Normally those are summertime type of maintenance projects, and I know that many people in the town don't understand or know a lot about the Zoning Board of Appeals. That's why I'm going to bring in a guest today to speak about that matter. We have a resident from the 4th Ward, and he is our chairman as well of the ZBA, Al Casella. I'd like to have him come on right now and speak to you a little bit about the zoning board and what it can do for you as a resident. If there are certain things that you need as far as variances for your properties, certainly if you need a pool, a shed, things of that nature. And since he is the chairman of the ZBA, he is more than adequately able to address those issues. And I will ask him now. Thank you for coming, Mr. Casella.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Now, as far as the ZBA goes, being chairman, can you kind of tell the residents what they might need, if they ever need to reach out to the ZBA, how would they do it, and what types of issues can you help them resolve in regards to their properties?
Sure, Mike. Thank you very much. So first of all, there's two main variances we look at. There's the area variance, which probably makes up 98% of the total variances we see, and there's also the use variance. An area variance would be something like, as you talked about before, somebody wants to put a pool in. They don't have the property setbacks to be able to do that, so what they do is they come in for a variance. And it depends on the location in Wappinger. Some properties like a quarter of an acre, a third of an acre, half an acre, and depending on where you're at, the setbacks are a little bit different, but typically it's 10 feet from the back, typically 15 feet from the side. So as an example, we have some folks where they also have like a septic or well on the back of their yard. It's only certain places they can put that pool, so they come in and ask us for a variance. And the process for this is pretty simple. They go in and they see our building department and the zoning administrator, and what they'll do is they'll tell them, these are the things that you need to do. There's proper paperwork that you have to fill out in order to do that. And then what will happen is they'll put them on the agenda for ZBA. They'll come in to meet us. We'll ask them a number of questions, look at their plot plans, look at their different information they have for us that pertains to why they need the variance. And what we'll do is we'll typically do like a site visit, Mike. And what that is it's basically an inspection to see, this is why we need it, this is why we're asking for it here. And what we try to do is, again, we have a law to follow, but what we try to do is we try to work with the residents. If we can help them out and other neighbors don't have an issue with the variance itself, we're going to try to approve it. But again, we have laws that we have to abide by, and also, again, we want to try to help out the residents. And we're pretty good at that, and most folks appreciate the fact that we can help work with them.
Before I let you go, is there any specific issue or specific type of case that you may have dealt with that you felt most proud of as far as making sure that the residents were taken care of and their concerns were addressed?
So we've had a number of unique circumstances where, I'll give you an example. We had a gentleman who had a property where they had quads going along the side of the yard there, and what folks wanted to do is they wanted to build their fence a little bit higher because they were looking for protection, as an example, because they had small young children. And we were able to accommodate and work with both sets of neighbors, make this thing a viable thing, and we were able to have the variance granted naturally. But very proud of that. Again, it was more of a kind of, I call it a safety issue. But we're able to accommodate them. But there's a number of different variances. And again, we try to work with everybody if we can. Again, we don't get involved in any disputes, but again, we want to do the best we can for the residents of the town.
Thank you, Mr. Casella. Maybe you can tell the residents where they might go if they needed to fill up an application to appear before the zoning board, and also as far as when your zoning board meetings take place, so that in case they ever want to go and see what it's about and maybe understand what the zoning board does, how they can do that.
Sure. We have, you can go to the zoning board. Basically, it's Barbara Roberti that runs that, as well as Bia Gunta. Basically, you go into them, you explain to them what you'd like to do. Again, there's special forms that you have to fill out. We meet every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. And again, we're always willing to go out and help folks. We have, again, site visits typically the Saturday after we do the actual meeting itself. But again, it's really Barbara and Bea that bring the information to us, all the backgrounds, all the information that we need to be able to either approve, disapprove the variances. But again, that's the starting point.
And those meetings, once again, on Tuesday evenings, they take place at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And where is that? At the town hall?
Yes, that's at the town hall, Mike. Sometimes it goes in the senior center, depending on whether there's another board in there, but typically it's in town hall.
And that's at 20 Middle Bush Road.
That's correct.
Yes, and it's also televised, as was mentioned. I want to thank you, Mr. Casella, for coming. I want to thank the building department, Barbara Roberti and Bea Gunta. They do a great job. I know that there are many times that I've reached out to Barbara, and she has been very attentive to making sure the residents' concerns were addressed. I also want to thank Mr. Casella as well as the zoning board. I know as a former member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, it can be an unsung job, but it's a very important job. And it's a job that many times takes a lot of work and a lot of time and effort, but it's needed. It's needed to make sure that our residents get the variances they need to make sure that they can do the different improvements on their properties or get a pool or something very simple as
Putting up a fence, something like that.
Exactly. And basically, without the Zoning Board of Appeals, that wouldn't happen. So we want to thank you for your time, and thank you for your time today, as well as all you do for the residents of this community and your work on the Zoning Board.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I also want to, of course, thank all the residents that come out and volunteer, the residents of the that volunteer and come to our events, the residents that volunteer on our recreation committee, the residents that volunteer for our community day committee. I am the councilman, but as I always say, the only reason why I can do the job I do is because of all of what you do. You're the ones that are behind the scenes making sure that this takes place, and I thank you because I know that without your efforts and concerns and your good wishes, that we wouldn't make this town the town that it is, and we won't continue to make this town a better place. And I know we can do it because we work together, and we will continue to work together. And once again, I thank you, and it makes me so proud and honored to represent you as a councilman of the 4th Ward. This is Michael Kuzmicz, councilman of the 4th Ward, ending this update, but letting you know that there will be another one shortly. We'll have our budget season coming up soon, and we will update you at that time. Have a great summer, and please enjoy our great parks, which we basically have renewed and renovated to make sure you can have an enjoyable summer. Thank you, and have a good day.